everyone, welcome to the Tracy Glenn Comedy Hour.
Come on, no.
So I can't even. All focus is out the window. Not even a minute into the stream, and I'm done. Oh gosh. Welcome in, guys. It's good to see you guys. As soon as I hit the stop button, she's got to come in and ask you questions. It's a pet peeve.
That's kids for you.
Oh my gosh. I need like a red light outside my door that says, when the red light's on, don't come in.
Kids definitely going to kill me.
Yep. That's for darn sure. So today we're going to be talking the last book/movie, and we're actually going to, I'm not going to split this up into two streams. This is going to just be it. We're going to talk about one book and two movies. And I don't have a very big list because I really enjoyed the way they did this movie. There are some differences that
the ending of this movie was horrible.
Okay, yeah, yes, we will talk about that. I agree with you. First, let's get to chat. Well, first of all, I have my amazing panel here. We have Megan, who does not have a channel, but she is a friend, and Tracy Glenn, who has a channel, and he's very funny and great, and so go check him out.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So,
gotta change that before she kills me.
All right. So while Tracy is doing who knows what, let's get the chat. Russ, welcome in. Good to see you. Pam, good to see you. And Tracy, good to see you. So that's it so far. So this is probably my second favorite book. I read this book first before I had seen the movie, so I had read all the movies. I had watched all the movies before the Deathly Hallows Part 1 came out, and then I read this book without having read previous books. So reading this book and not reading previous books is a mind warp, I'll tell you that. So, because there's so much in this book, like, that we'll talk about, that you're like, this wasn't in the movies previous, this wasn't in the movies, that wasn't in the movies. And so then when I watched the movie, when the movies came out, I was like, okay. So there's a flow with how the movies have gone, and there's a flow with the books. And when you read the last book before reading all the previous books, but yet having seen the movies, it really is a mind warp. So just a little disclaimer there. Don't read the last book if you haven't read the previous books. Read them from the beginning. Amanda, Addiction Mouse, welcome in. Oh, we've been joined by Winifred Sanderson.
No, what are you talking about? I'm a long-lost relative of one of the Weasleys. Look at the red hair.
I don't know that I can handle this today. Oh, my word. All right, so what's the chat saying? So you read this like you watched the Marvel movies out of order. Yes, Russ. I indeed did that, yes.
What did you do?
So I was telling everyone that I read this book before I had read any of the other books, but I saw the movies. So when you've seen all the movies, all 6 movies, and then you read the last book before the movie comes out, and you're like, well, that's not in the movie, and that's not in the movie, and that's not in the movie. It's a complete mind warp. So, yeah, that's what I was saying. So, I put a spell on you.
What are you talking about? Oh, Weasley. Look at red hair, wand.
There is no escaping Winifred Sanderson at this point. But 'tis the season. So Billy is in, and she says, "I'm conflicted if I should text Kenzie and tell her about her father's nonsense or mind my business." Kenzie, Billy, that is totally up to you. I won't judge either way. All right, so all of my notes are completely out of order. We're just going to talk about first thing that comes to mind when we think book versus movie. Megan, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Definitely, like Tracy said, the ending. It was not what I was expecting, not what I wanted, not.
Yeah, because in the movie he snaps the elder wand in half, right?
Well, he does that. He does that in the book too.
He does it in the book too.
Yes.
But in the book, he throws it in. Doesn't he throw it in like?
He throws it. He throws it pretty much the same. That happens. That exactly happens. He takes him. He repairs his wand. He repairs his first wand, and then he snaps it and then throws it in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Tracy, how about you? First thoughts, book versus movies, biggest pet peeve, what, anything?
Biggest pet peeve is the ending. The final battle, the battle in the hall, how they treated the ending. You lost a lot of backstory on Dumbledore and his sister. You just, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, question for you guys: Am I lagging? Because my internet keeps cutting it out. All right, so I'm gonna go. As we talk, I'm gonna go from top to bottom of how I wrote things down. No particular order, but actually, this is my number one grievance with that book versus movie. So in the book, the way that Ron and Hermione's kiss happens, they obviously couldn't have it that way in the movie because it surrounds, and hold on, I'm going to go to the page. It's page 625. And this is probably my favorite part out of the whole thing. And it's right in the middle of the Battle of Hogwarts. And Ron says, "Hang on a moment. We've forgotten someone." And Hermione says, "Who?" And Ron says, "The house elves. They'll all be down in the kitchen, won't they?" So in the previous movies, you don't know that the house elves work in the kitchen. So they obviously had to switch up the storyline in the movie. And so the book continues. "No," said Ron, seriously. "I mean, we should tell them to get out. We don't want any more Dobbies, do we? We can't order them to die for us." And then ... or slash. And then it says, "There was a clatter as the basilisk fangs cascaded out of Hermione's arms. Running at Ron, she flung them around his neck and kissed him full on the mouth. Ron threw away the fangs and the broomstick he was holding and responded with such enthusiasm that he lifted Hermione off her feet." That's so romantic and descriptive to me. And in the movie, I hate it. Big gush of water, they're all soaking wet, and then they kiss. Yay. Mm-hmm. I hate that. Absolutely hated that. So Hermione's passions were obviously about these house elves. Work something in there, tiptoe around it. Don't completely change how the scene happens, because it just didn't make sense to me. It made absolutely no sense.
All right, so I was wrong.
What were you wrong about?
Harry does not snap the Elder Wand in the book.
I didn't think so.
He goes, "As for the wand, as his wand resealed, red sparks flew out of the end. Harry knew that he had been successful. He then picked up the Holly and Phoenix wand and felt a shudder within his fingers and a wand in hand. I'm putting the elder wand, he said to Dumbledore, who was watching him from an enormous affection and admiration, back where it came from. It can stay there. If I die a natural death, like his relative, its power will be broken, won't it? The previous master will never have been defeated. That'll be the end of it. So he puts it back in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much that's where he's saying.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No.
No.
Dougie is at work, I believe. Yeah, I know. We need Dougie to read this because coming from a Scotsman would just sound 10 times more romantic than an American.
I can try, but no. And that would just be
Yeah.
wrong.
And plus, it wouldn't be the same.
I can tell you my favorite line in this in this book. That on page 736. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He changed course, running at Bellatrix rather than Voldemort. But before he had gone a few steps, he was knocked sideways. Not my daughter, you bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that one right there, when I read that, it just sent shivers down my spine, knowing that Molly got her. She took care of business.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the movies and throughout the books, Molly doesn't come off as a very powerful wizard.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And underrating her.
Mm-hmm.
That alone, when she took on Bellatrix Lestrange and defeated her,
Yeah.
showed how powerful she truly was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Hey Pam, welcome in. Hey Jeff, welcome in.
Favorite line in the whole movie. I'm not sure. Did they say that in the movie? Did they? That's a favorite line in the book. Did they say that in the movie? Do you
Yes.
remember?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was surprised about because, excuse me, I can't. I always thought these books were like kids' books.
They are.
Well, yes and no, but to have a swear in them, it kind of threw me off. Now I don't I don't give two craps, but I mean, I just remember when I first read that I was like, whoa, but after everything she had been through, and then in the last book with the Boggarts in the closet and seeing her family dead, and then she loses her son. She was done. She's hell hath no fury than a woman scorned.
Well, I don't think if at that point we knew that we lost one of the Weasley twins. Right. I don't think it was brought up in the book at that point. I just think here you got Molly, who's the only daughter she has. Mm-hmm. She went nuts. She went full mama bear.
Yeah. The claws came out.
I think I think in the book, the treatment of the elder one in the movie was better than the book, in my opinion. Because with the elder wand being snapped and then thrown into the ravine, there was no chance of that ever being passed on to somebody else, the allegiance. Because think about it, Harry as a father could easily be beaten by his own kid in a duel or by surprise or anything to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
So in the book, because Harry didn't snap the wand, and he drops the resurrection stone in the forest, right?
Correct.
He leaves it there. He doesn't go back for it in the book, does he? Because
no,
he doesn't.
No. In the book he tells Dumbledore. He tells Dumbledore's portrait. He goes, "I left it in the forest." And now the difference between what you see the resurrection stone in the movie and what the Resurrection Stone in the book, it's just a rock. The movie has it more carved out, chiseled out, looks like somewhat of a diamond.
Like a ruby or something.
Huh?
Because like a ruby, because I think it's red.
Right.
Yeah.
In the movie, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, because my thought was there could potentially be future books based upon the Deathly Hallows. Like, it doesn't have to surround Harry or anything, because you could have someone find the Resurrection Stone, you know, find the Elder Wand, and I know Harry has the cloak, but if you were creative enough, J.K. could easily come up with something else to not continue the story of Harry, but continue the story of the Deathly Hallows, and then work something around that. I think that would be cool. But you wouldn't be able to do a movie about it because he snapped the wand in half and threw it into the freaking ravine. I mean, unless there's something that you can think of to make it go back together. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know. Well, all right. So,
well, Jeff said super glue it back together. I don't think that works in the Wizarding world.
No, it doesn't. Let's talk about, this is another thing that really irks me. The beginning, the goodbyes with the Dursleys. That beginning part, it just, all the crud that Harry had gone through so many years with them, that for me was closure, proper closure, because it's, Petunia says what she says, I forget her exact words, but you didn't just lose a sister, mother, I lost a sister.
But that's only in the extras. In the movie release, that doesn't come out. In the movie release, you only see the Dursleys get in their car and leave.
Yeah,
right.
The cutting that out of the movie, actually, you lose some of that closure that they had.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the part where Dudley, hold on, I need to go to it because I need to do it justice. So, I mean, through the whole thing, Dudley's a prat. He is he's awful. And then you have this, and I love how it's, I don't know. So, all right. Where'd it go? There's this one line. We're just going to start from the beginning. He says, I'm over here. Okay. Dudley says, nope. Harry says, okay, wait a minute. I gotta back up. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so they're coming to get Harry. They're coming to get the Dursleys to transport them. We got Hestia and Diddley Diggus, or whatever the heck his name is. And so she says, because they're so off with some of our, so they're outraged. I don't know, whatever. There's this conversation that's been happening. And Harry basically says, it's fine, it doesn't matter, honestly, because I think it was not a proper, like, they didn't feel like Harry was being treated the way that he should have been treated, as, by saying with a proper goodbye. And so Harry says, it's fine, it doesn't matter, and then Hestia says, it doesn't matter. Don't these people realize what you've been through, what danger you're in, the unique position you hold in the hearts of anti-Voldemort movement? And Harry says, no, they don't. They think I'm a waste of space, actually. But I'm used to, and then Harry gets cut off, and Dudley says, I don't think you're a waste of space. And that was like, that line hit me, like, his cousin who bullied him through 6 books. And finally, in the 7th book, he says, I don't think you're a waste of space. And it's like, whoa.
Well, I think that goes back to the 5th book, where he saves Dudley from the Dementor.
Right. So then there's banter about that. I'm going to talk about that. And then Harry says, yeah, but coming from Dudley, that's like, I love you. So yeah. I thought that was hilarious. I love that. But I mean, I mean, you have this parting where Harry says, "Blimey, Dudley, did the Dementors blow a different personality into you?" Which I thought that was hysterical, And I think that they should have left that part in the book. They should have just kept that. Oh, in the movie, they should have just put that in there. That would have made that scene just extra special. It would have given the closure that it needed, and that would have made my day. Charlie, welcome in. Good to see you. Or Stacy, Charlie or Stacy. I don't know who it is yet. Excuse me. But yeah, so that's another one of my pet peeves. The farewells.
Yeah. I love that part in the book, and I was mad they didn't have it in the movie.
The what?
I loved that part in the book, and I hated that they didn't have it in the movie.
Yeah. I agree. All right, what are some other things that you guys have? Jeff says he needs closure.
Yeah. I don't know. Is this the one with the 7 Harrys? No, that was the different book, right?
No, this is the one.
You're right.
Yep.
It's cool. I mean, the 7 Harrys, that was cool. What I don't like about how they treat the Polyjuice Potion, and they treat it different throughout all the movies, because you get the first time you get the Polyjuice Potion, you get the Polyjuice Potion in movie 2. And when they drink the Polyjuice Potion, they still have their voices. Well, obviously they had to do that for the Hans Gruber. This is not Die Hard yet. They have their voices. But then when you get into Goblet of Fire, Barty Crouch Jr. has the same voice as Mad-Eye Mooney. Does he practice the Mad-Eye Mooney voice to kind of fool everybody? I mean, don't you think that people that knew Mad-Eye Mooney for years would have known that that wasn't Mad-Eye Mooney's voice?
Yeah.
Where in the books, once you take the Polyjuice Potion, you're 100% that person. So then you get, in this movie, you have all the Polyjuice Potion, and they're speaking as Harry in their own personal voices. Again, so like I said, it seems to me like sometimes the movies, and which, I mean, when we get to my next stream, you're going to see that movies treat everything. So,
yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, it was cool to see, but
yeah. I think for me, I would have loved to see more of them learning the story of the 3 brothers, because they did tell it in the movie and they heard it and whatever, and they learned the story. But in the book, like, they kind of went through, like, well, what if he's your relative? Like, you have the invisibility cloak and it's not a charm. And in the movie, they didn't really do that. They kind of just told the story and then went on with it. I loved in the book how it kind of escalated and they talked about it. And
yeah, I mean, the last movie did gloss over a lot of stuff, between the let's see, the handling of the old lady, and the snake coming out of the old lady. That was kind of weird. I mean, I remember seeing it differently. They didn't have Harry pining over after reading the book, the expose of Dumbledore. You didn't have him getting mad at Dumbledore for not telling him everything or telling him what, So, and then he gets on, the whole, in the book, he gets on that whole focused of the Deathly Hallows. He moves on from getting the Horcruxes to the Deathly Hallows. In the movies, he never moves off of the Horcruxes. He always continues on with the Horcrux, where the whole idea in the book is that the reason why Beetle the Bard, the book of Beetle the Bard was given to Hermione was to make sure that he knew that Hermione was going to bring him back to the Horcruxes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, the movie did a great job in splitting where they split. Between the two movies, it was a great job on the split.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Ken's is here. Don't watch the beginning, hon. That's not good.
Hey, Kenzie, welcome in. Yeah, so I lost my train of thought. So I'm going to move on to a new one. So some of the other issues that I had was the whole. So going back to the beginning of the book, their time in 12 Grimmauld Place, all the strategic planning, all the descriptiveness of how they're going to the grocery store to get food, and Hermione's leaving coins or leaving money or something in place of, what's been taken, newspapers, and the house is being watched in the book, which you don't get in the movies. So they have to use the invisibility cloak. The whole absence of the invisibility cloak through this entire movie, because they use it quite often. They use it when they go. Actually, no. It's another pet peeve. When they go to Godric's Hollow, they take Polyjuice Potion. So the time to brew the Polyjuice Potion for that, and to get into the Ministry, and then the whole planning with the Ministry, like all that, even if it's like fast details, like a montage of showing you how they're preparing for this, would have been really cool, I think, because it wasn't just they went there and slept. Because in the movie, I remember thinking to myself, is the place stocked, or are they getting food? This, that, I mean, of course, there's not everything's going to be shown on screen, but all those little details, like I love details, all those little details is what I was missing.
Yeah.
And then the whole Creature thing with, we don't get the story from Creature about Regulus Black, and you miss the story behind that, and they give him the fake locket, and his whole mood changes after he gets that locket because of the story.
The last time we see Creature hates Harry, hates the Weasleys, definitely hates Hermione, and by the end of the movie or at the end of the book, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the movie itself, I think how they had to handle the massive amount of information that you got out of the book, they did well all the way up to the end of the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we're like, because it is a very, very thick book. It's tough to get all of that information into. And I mean, how long is the first movie? Hour and a half?
I think so, yeah.
Hour and a half, 2 hours, even if it's getting close to 2 hours. I mean, we haven't had any of the adventure type movies yet. Nothing's been getting there to 3 hours. I can say if they would have done, like, if they would have said, okay, listen, we're going to treat the last two Harry Potter movies like they treated Infinity War and Endgame, you would have gotten a lot more expose out of all of the book. But at this point in time, we still didn't have movies as long as what we're currently used to sitting down and watching. Right now, you could say, if somebody says, hey, do you want to go watch a 3 hour movie? And you'd be like, well, what's it about? And you say it's about this, people would more willing to sit down for a 3 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, let me check that. Go ahead. I interrupted you. Or did you lose
Can
track?
you guys still see me?
Yes.
And hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
My internet is doing something completely wonky, and you guys keep cutting in and out on me, so I'm missing the majority of what you're saying. I don't know what's happening right now. So I don't know.
So you totally, completely lost everything I said?
Yep. And even now, I feel like I got bits and pieces of what you said, so I apologize.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay, see?
I don't even know at this point. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so granted, so being that I don't know what you just said, if I repeat things that you've already said, I do apologize.
Yep. So Deathly Hallows 1 was 2 hours and 34 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what I was saying is we haven't seen like Endgame length movies when this was released.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If we if we got used to doing a 3-hour movie, I could see a lot more information getting in these two movies that they cut out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I probably lost her again.
Hold on. I'm checking my memory status. What is happening? OneDrive. Okay. I'm gonna stop OneDrive. Oh, it's not doing anything. Oh my gosh, what's happening right now? It's OneDrive. There we go. Hang tight, guys. Tracy's gonna entertain you. He's gonna sing a song. I put a spell on you.
I told you I'm one of those. I'm one of those long lost Weasley relatives.
That's it. Okay. Speaking of, I hate that. You know, in the book, Harry at the wedding is just disguised as Barney.
He's
Weasley. He's got the apologies potion. They disguise him as a Weasley. Nobody knows that he is Harry.
How did I ruin this weight, Ken's? You have the same size head as me.
I have no words right now. Hold on. I'm trying to watch. I'm going to click buttons that I'm going to destroy the stream. Just wait.
Oh my goodness.
It's coming. Alright. I don't know. That's the best I can do right now. I'm going to end the system and then I'm doomed. Okay. All right. So, okay, here's another thing that I absolutely hate is justice when it comes to Peter Pettigrew. Voldemort gave him a hand. He restored his hand in the 4th book / movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives us this bionic metal hand. And on page 470 in the book, and this doesn't happen in the movie, let's go to page 470. Just pretend I said that in the Professor Snape voice. So Pettigrew is essentially threatening Harry's life.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry says, "You're going to kill me?" Harry choked, attempting to prise off the metal fingers. "After I saved your life, you owe me, Wormtail." The silver finger slackened. Harry had not expected it. He wrenched himself free, astonished, keeping his hand over Wormtail's mouth. He saw the rat-like man's small, watery eyes widen with fear and surprise. He seemed just as shocked as Harry at what his hand had done. I love this because it wasn't Wormtail that let up on choking Harry. It was the hand itself. At the tiny, merciful impulse it had betrayed, and he continued to struggle more powerfully as though to undo that moment of weakness. "And we'll have that," whispered Ron, tugging Wormtail's wand from his other hand. Wandless, helpless, Pettigrew's pupils dilated in terror. His eyes had slid from Harry's face to something else. His own silver fingers were moving inexorably towards his throat. "No," he screams. Without pausing to think, Harry tried to drag back the hand, but there was no stopping it. The silver tool that Voldemort had given him, his most cowardly servant, had turned upon its disarmed and useless owner. Pettigrew was reaping his reward for hesitation. His moment of pity, he was being strangled before his eyes.
So in the book, actually, the hand doesn't let go. The hand let go is because Peter has that hesitation. So the hand, feeling the hesitation, yes, it did let go, but it's because that hand belongs to Voldemort. So that hand chokes Peter.
Yeah.
You don't get that in the movie. You don't get
Right.
the death of Peter Pettigrew in the movie.
Right. And the reasons why, like the symbol,
Right. But then again, with books, it's always better to read a book and then get that further, and you get the thought process behind somebody's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Actually, in the movie, I think Dobby killed Pettigrew, didn't he?
I think he stuns him.
Hey, Rachel.
Yeah, when I read that, I never understood if Dobby was stunning him or killing him. Maybe he did stun him.
Yeah. Either way, it's wrong. Because it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, all right, what else we got here? So we're coming up at 2:40. We got a little bit more time. Oh goodness, this part, I hated this part. So when they're at Grimmauld Place and Lupin comes to join them, and he says he wants to hang out with them and help Harry fight, and they suspect that he's trying to run away from his, duties of being a husband and a father, and he's basically scared, because he is part werewolf. I think he's afraid to be a part of that family, and he's having doubts and having thoughts. And they left that completely out of the movie too.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I don't think I think I almost got everything. Just little details now. Oh, Dean.
From the
Dean
Black Place?
No, Dean. In the book, Dean, whatever the heck his last name is. So Thomas, thank you. Throughout the book, he's on the run, and there's a scene where you see him on the run with Griphook, and they're having like a fire, I think, by this they're in the woods, and there's overheard conversation, and I forget who overhears it exactly.
I think all of them do, because they're behind the I think they're behind that invisible the protection spell that they have.
They get the protection charms and whatnot that's around their tent, I think. But yeah, and you don't see that, and then so Dean is also in the basement with Luna and Ollivander and Griphook, I think.
No, I think in the basement you have Ollivander and Luna in the book. Griphook ends up being captured with Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and then bring them all to, and that's how they all get to Malfoy's mansion.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, those are, not, I mean, they're big enough to count them as, differences, obviously. And there's more, but these are just the ones that were on the forefront of my mind that always kind of stuck out to me and bothered me about the movies. But all right, any last ones for you guys? Because I'm done with my list.
I don't think so. I think you kind of said everything I was thinking.
Okay.
And I will explain why I hate the ending of this so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the end, in the movie, you have Harry battling Tom in the middle of nowhere. And when you have the expose of them talking about, or Harry telling Voldemort the whole reason why he is the Elder Wand's true owner, and then you have everybody just kind of staring. You know what I mean? And then in the movie, there's nobody around. boom, they had their last cast. Voldemort pretty much fades away. He's like out in pieces of strips and everything. In the book, he's dead. He's a body. He's a body just laid off to the side because nobody knows what to do with it. It's and then so the way it kind of looks to me, like, yes, Harry's back in the Hogwarts. Everybody knows that he won, but you won't know. People don't know for sure. Did Harry beat Voldemort? Did Voldemort? You know what I mean? In the book, it's 100% proven. Boom, done, dead. There's no more resurrection for Voldemort. His body's laying there. Where, like, in the first book, what we get out of it is they know that the spell backfired on Voldemort and he was a ghost of a person. That could still happen in the movies because nobody's seen the body. You know what I mean? There's just boom. And even in the book, what they would do with it is they shove it off to the side because it's there. And then I don't know for sure in the movie because it's been a while since I watched the movie. The ending happens inside the huge office of Dumbledore's office, the headmaster's office. And seeing all those paintings celebrating, congratulating Harry, and then that last piece of the talking between Harry and Dumbledore's painting, which for some reason, I guess all the paintings have this little bits of them original selves in it. So it's not like Harry always has a chance to go back to talk to Dumbledore because Dumbledore in the painting has that same kind of mindset. And then the expose that comes out of that, I think that's what I missed in the movie. I wanted to see Harry defeat Voldemort in the middle of the Great Hall and see him just laying off to the side because nobody cared about him anymore,
Yeah.
And then, the 19 years later, you have a very short version of what's going on between the two, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, seeing Malfoy down the line. You don't get the whole, make sure you don't marry a pureblood type thing. And your granddad would, like, you see that they've made up or whatever, but there's still that cool relationship between the two of them where it's like Cold War type battling instead of just friends. It's just a nod.
Yeah.
All right, my rant's over. That was my biggest rant.
Okay, I like it. I agree. All right, so we have 15 minutes left. It's okay if we end early. Nope. I have an idea. Hold on. I'm going to give point update and I'm going to show prizes.
Awesome.
Okay. So, as of right now, Tracy is ahead of the game. Tracy's got 30 points. And then we have Avery and Stacy, who are next in line.
What's their? I want to know how far ahead I am. So how am I going to kick some butt?
So the sheet that has that information on there, I can't find at the moment. So once I clean things up, I will have that. But I just, it's close because I think they had I want to say they had 20 points. So you're ahead at least 10 points.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to compete next week. It's unfair for me to be on your panel and then compete against people knowing that people obviously I'm a nerd and I've watched these movies and read these books probably a couple times. So while I do miss some questions, it's not right for me to compete with everybody, especially if I'm on your panel.
Okay. So you heard it here first. You guys have a shot at this. Next week is going to be the final trivia. It's going to be on the Deathly Hallows. I'm going to show you some of the prizes. It's this Kingdom Hearts tumbler. I'm sorry that there's a glare. So it's that, and then we have a Batman comic. And then we have a Harry Potter Funko, and he's holding the cloak of invisibility. And a mystery keychain, Disney one. And oh, there's two of them. Two mystery keychain packs and a Harry Potter Mash'em. And these are really cool because is it a Mash'em? It's called? Yeah, Mash'em. It's kind of like a stress ball, but it's like rubbery, and I like them a lot.
And Russ said he had 40,000 points, so he cannot believe that you lost that sheet.
Yes, Russ. It just so happens to be the sheet that had 40,000 points on it. Ow.
There's a wall right next to you.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. I didn't see it there. So that is the grand prize winner. I keep finding things at the stores that I might want to add to it. So there might be something else next week included. So next week I will have all the official points tallied, and whoever wins next week will be the winner. I will tally the points then too. So good luck to you guys. All right. So Tracy, coming up, what do you have going on?
Well, in about an hour and 10 minutes, I will be hosting Nerd Talk, Avengers Infinity War on my channel. So when you get a chance, check it out. I actually did go through today on my channel and make a playlist of all of the Marvel Nerd Talk. So if you want to watch and catch up with our Nerd Talk of all of our movies, you can go through and hit that playlist. It's not just my videos. It's between me, or Kenzie Days, Diz Our Dream, Russ, What in the World with Russ, for Russ Stapleton, and last but not least, myself. So I included today's on the playlist. So if you get a chance and you want to go back through and watch a very, very long talk of nerds, would be us. I'm going to probably go through and look and make a playlist of The Mandalorian if we get a chance to. But if not, it is what it is. I can't wait to get back to talking about Mandalorian in November.
Nice. That's exciting. I know. Hey, Ron and Meredith, welcome in the Philly crew. Yeah, I've seen 1.5 episodes of The Mandalorian, and I stopped.
Like you have a lot to catch up with.
Yeah, I do. But it's exciting because then we have a complete another season coming out, so I won't be left hanging. So I'm excited. But I stopped to start watching the rest of the Marvel movies. So that's why I put them.
What kind of movies were they?
The Marvel.
Oh, that's not what you said. What did you say? Marvel? Did you say Marvel?
Yeah.
Marvel.
Listen, you can take the girl out of Boston, but you can't take Boston out of the girl.
Listen, I do it because I like picking on you.
Fine. All right, guys. So join us on my channel Tuesday at 11 a.m. We're going to be doing book club, Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet, and that's at 3 p.m. I think I said 11 a.m. It's not anymore. It's 3 p.m. And then Wednesday, whatever it is, I think I'm going to do something a little different on Wednesday. I'm going to do a photography stream. I'm going to show you guys how I edit special effects into one of my latest photo shoots. So It's the Scarlet Witch effect. So stay tuned for that. So that should be fun. Wednesday, 5 o'clock for Wednesday whateverness, and
Wednesday whateverness.
Whatever. So yeah. All right. I hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget about trivia next Sunday, 2 p.m. And it'll be the last stream on Sundays at 2 p.m. And then if we decide to do like another book or movie thing like this in the future, it'll probably be on a Wednesday night stream or something. So it's not completely gone because I still have like Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre and those types of things that I want to be doing. So it'll just be random and sporadic on a Wednesday at some point. But no more book versus movie after next week. Next week's the last one. So prepared, come with your trivia brains, and we'll have that giveaway. So have a great week. Know that you are loved, that you are blessed, that you are appreciated, and you are cared for. See you guys later.